One of the great things about cartoons, drawings, graphic novels, is that you can create anything that you can imagine. If you had to make this scene as an actual live-action photograph or movie, you would spend millions and millions of dollars. But you can do this just using your imagination and some colors. One thing that all cartoons need is characters. And each character typically has something that identifies them, that lets us know which character is which. So in this case, each character's face is pretty similar, but you have the hat, the glasses, different hairstyles, something that tells us in every scene which character we're looking at. Characters can be anything: a sponge, a starfish, a bag of French fries, a milkshake. And cartoons and graphic novels have taken on some serious topics and won major awards for literature lately. This book, Persepolis, is about growing up in a time when a revolution saw a conservative and repressive government taking over Iran. This is an 8-volume, thousands of page graphic novel version of the life of the Buddha. The characters in cartoons can be complex and elaborate, but they can also be successful if they're simple. But in each case, the character needs to look the same and have consistent proportions in each frame of the story. Everything starts with a sketch, trying out ideas and different variations, different eyes, different hair, different proportions. And then once a lot of different variations are sketched, then the next step would be imagining what the character looks like from different points of view. In this case, we have the character seen from the front and slightly turned and from the side. But you'll notice that the proportions are consistently the same. The size of the head, the height of the boots, everything is the same proportional relationships, but we see the character from different points of view. Here's another example of Winnie the Pooh, and you see that the head, the body, and the feet are all close to the same proportions. Here's another example. Okay, when I start my cartoon, I could use some of the shapes that are available, like circles, to make the actual shape of the character. For example, make this purple, and then take another circle and make it into an eye. Here. See if I can stamp this. Move it over here. So now I have the two eyes, and I could go on and make a pupil for the eye in whatever shape I want. Put in the pupil here, use the stamp. So you get the idea. That one would be taken away. So you can use these kind of already made shapes, and that's a good way to do it. What I want to do is use a combination on this one of already made shapes with some hand drawing, because I want that hand drawn look. So you can do, one thing I want to do to start with is get some guidelines here so that I can get my two different views to line up when I start doing the second view. Let's try this again. You're learning from my many mistakes here. Once you X out of this line, this fox, you can't do much with it unless you have magically selected it. So putting a line up here at the top, stretching it out, making sure it's nice and parallel. I'm going to stamp it and bring the other one down here. This is just going to be a guide to get my two views lined up. Okay. So I want to do this shape, this creature that I'm going to make. It's going to be sort of a purple triangular blob shape. Not really any particular animal or any fruit or vegetable or anything. So there's the basic shape, and I'm going to go to the fill program, fill brush, and color it in. And I want to, before I do anything, I want to select this blob shape so I can move it around and manipulate it. I don't really want the lines in there. There it is, that's done. Now I can shrink this or stretch it or pull it or change it if I need to do that later on. So the next thing I want to do is make some eyes, and for this I am going to use the shape menu here, starting with the circle, maybe about that big. I'm going to make it big and then select it, then I copy it and then make two. For the fill, I want it to be white. For the line, I'm going to make it light blue just for fun, maybe a little thicker. And then I'm going to magic select that. So now I've got this. I'm going to take this, select it, and copy and paste. I've got two of them here. Now they're going back behind this thing, so I have to pull them in front. Took me a while to get used to that thing. Okay, so we got our eyes in front here. Oops, I didn't want to fill those, didn't I? Okay. I'm going to undo these. Forgot to put in the fill color. So we'll go to 2D shapes. Like that. Fill is going to be white. Now, magic select. Forgot to add is what I needed to do, the middle part. There we go. I don't want that little bit there. Back and forth. Okay. Close enough for now. Okay, so now I've got this big white eye. I'm going to try and see if I can put in another shape for the pupil. Stand here and shrink it. And make the eyes, let's make them a blue with light blue here. Put this in here and fill it out so that it is about the right size for my eye. I'm going to go to here and magic select. I don't know what happened there. Okay. Let's go back and cancel this. I've got this. Okay, it worked. Now I can shrink it down. I'm going to copy, paste. Got my two eyes. Need to bring them forward. And then once I've got them made, I can manipulate them any way I want. They don't necessarily have to be the same size, but in this case, I want them to be the same size. I think I want them to be a little more squinty. So let's bring them down. Lots of different ways you can manipulate this. Okay, so I've got this creature, and while I'm at it, I'm going to select the eye, the other eye, and this blob, and group them all. Now I should be able to move everything around. Okay, I've got that much selected. Now the next thing I want to do is make an arm. I'm just going to make one arm that's, let's make the arm light blue. Some arm hanging out over here with some fingers. Cartoon arm and a shoulder. I'll go to the bucket here and fill it. I am going to magic select this because I want to use this not only on my front view, but I want to use it on my other views, my profile view. So once I've got this, I can spin it around and show it from the side or straight on or whatever I want to do. I'm going to copy this and paste it. Got two arms here. Shrink it down a little bit. Pull it out in front. And this one I'm going to shrink down to that size and just flip it this way. Pull it in front. Sort of like glasses now. Long arms. Shrink them a little bit. Now to give it some more look of the hand drawing, I'm going to make a mouth. Let's make the mouth, let's make it yellow. I like using weird colors. So we'll just make a mouth here. Nice smiley mouth. Okay, I don't like that first mouth. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. So now we have, that should stick with the image. Okay, we didn't add the arms on yet, but that's okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is go back to my two-dimensional shapes and make some feet. Let's try this shape. I haven't worked with this much. Turn it this way. And then fill it with, let's make this person's, this thing's deep orange. Okay, I'm going to select this. I don't know why it didn't, why it included that part, but we don't want that part. Okay, now we're done with that. Now we've got our feet. I'm going to copy the foot, paste it, bring the feet down here. And in this case, I kind of like them behind the thing. So there we go. I'm going to stretch this out just a little bit so that it sits on its feet. Move the arms down some. And there's my character. Okay, so what does this character look like from the side? Use the marker again. I want it to be purple. This color over here, and imagining that this thing is kind of narrow from the side. Comes down about to the same point. Doesn't really have a nose sticking out. So that's about the right shape. Let's fill that with purple. And there's that. So I'm going to go back to the shape. I didn't want to do that. Going back to the shape menu, and I'm going to ungroup these just for a minute. I'm going to take this eye and copy it and paste it. So I've got the eye from the side here, but it's going to be, you're not seeing as much of the eye, so I'm going to kind of squish it like that. Take this arm again, copy it, paste it, and try to imagine what the arm would look like seen from the side. It's turned a little bit this way. The feet, and copy that. And put my foot sticking out sort of like this. This foot should actually be back behind like that. So then I've got the basic character here. It's kind of slouching a little bit, so see if I can, I didn't magic select this, but what I would do is select this and tip it forward. It does need a little bit of the mouth showing. I don't want the bucket. See if I can get a decent looking mouth here. And we want these to line up with, keep putting a little thing there, which I don't want. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so I can work on this mouth. Right about here. Okay. Go back again. So that's my character from 2 points of view, but if I had more than a couple of these characters, I wouldn't really be able to tell them apart. So I want to give them some distinguishing features. I'm going to make a star here. I'm going to fill it with, we need another color here. Let's see, how about pink? No line. Shrink it down some, and this character for some reason has a star on its right side. Make this into a stamp. Put it over here, and since we're seeing it from the side, I'm going to squish it down a little bit. Okay, so there's one thing that lets us tell who this character is. It's the purple pink star character named, I think I'm going to name it AD, initial AD. I don't know why. I want to put a little bit more stuff in here. This crayon doesn't always make good marks, but I'm going to try, see what happens if I draw some stuff with the crayon. Let's try some green here. Maybe make a little design here. I'm not too crazy about that. So let's go back to the pen maybe. This pen gets kind of thicker or thinner depending on how hard you press it. Try the pencil. Okay, having fun now, but it's not showing up so well. So let's go back to this green little decoration here. And then you would also see this from the side. There are my two characters, my one character, AD, seen from a frontal view and a profile view. So have fun with this. Oh, I gotta get the star back. What happened to my star? Big star we need. Squished down. I don't know why it disappeared. So if you want to make a background for your creature, your character, what I did here was select everything and put my creature here on a separate layer. And then also made a layer for the photograph by magic selecting it, so I can shrink it or change it or do whatever I want to with it. So I could have this AD, that was its name, sitting up here with the other Hanover students, or standing in front of the wall here, whatever you want to do. What I think I'll do, another option is to just delete that for now. I'm going to create a hand-drawn background, which I always like. So I'm going to shrink this and get it out of the way. I'm going to make a square rectangle, that is, to put my my background in. Now you may be wondering why this eye is sticking out. It's just for some reason was out in front of the other parts. So I'm pushing this to the back, pushing this to the back, and then our old friend Magic Select. Just want this rectangle so we can draw on it. Done. Okay, so now we've got this nice palette here that once it's finished, we can put the cartoon character on. So I'm going to start with my marker and make, let's see, what color do I want to use here? Let's make a nice green hillside here. Make this into a shape and fill it. So there's part of the background. And of course, we need some blue sky here. Although you could keep the sky, pink if you wanted to. And make a nice blue sky. Just overlapping here. Fill this. And what about some clouds? Now this is where you can try some different textures maybe. I'm going to try the pencil and see what it looks like to add some pencil drawing onto this. It gives it kind of a young kid look. I don't know if you can fill with this or not. Let's try it. Okay, that didn't work too well. Let's just leave them white like that, like outlines. And then maybe I'm going to try the crayon. Now, again, you can use anything you want. Try this crayon and see how it works. I want to make some trees that are an unusual color, maybe pink. Tree growing there. A weird looking tree. If you look at cartoons, they often use very stylized, funny looking things in the background. What could we do to put, we could make some leaves using the spray can. Just experiment and have fun. So do whatever you want. If you don't like it, just undo it. But once you get all that background finished, let's see what happens here when we go back to shapes. You can put your character in the background. Now I've got a problem here because the arms aren't showing up against the blue. So you would want to work with that some. Let's maybe bye-bye. Let's try doing a different sky color. I'm going to go back here and redraw my sky. Since I happen to have yellow up, we'll have a yellow sky. Fill it. Wow, that's a new effect. I haven't seen that before. I kind of like it, but don't really want those weird outlines there, so I'm just going to cover that up with more yellow. I know this looks sort of like a kid's art, but kids' art is great. And it's a chance for you to experiment and have fun and try different things. You could make another layer of hills in the background, maybe pink hills back here. And you can always select these and make separate layers. And I'm just going to fill them for demonstration purposes. There's my background. Trees. Then I'll make some trees. What crazy color? Let's try white. A white tree. Looks kind of like a nice cartoon tree. This pen tool, the faster you go, the thinner it looks. So maybe we can put a sun in there somewhere. This big pink sun. Let's change it to some other color. Let's do something weird like a light blue sun. Okay, so you get the idea. Be creative, have fun. Now you've got the beginnings of your cartoon story.